yes, people have been sort of had this sort of complaint almost, I would say, that why is the series in English? But you also have to understand that it is a very newly independent India set in a post-partition time, and we were just coming out of the Raj, and we were heavily influenced by them. And this is a story about these families who are sort of upper middle class, I would say, and they were very heavily influenced by the Raj, and they sort of want to. I mean, with Lata's brother, you would see older brother Arun Mehra. You would see that he almost wants to fit with those people. I mean, he does not really want to associate with his Indian identity at all.
I think that's where Mira Nair comes into the picture.
Exactly.
And that is the discussion that I had with Mira when we were doing Monsoon Wedding, the musical. And I remember saying that it's a book written by an Indian. He is an Indian English writer, essentially. And that's Vikram Seth for you, right? But the story is very Indian and it has to be told by an insider. And that's why when I got to know that there is a series which is going to be made by BBC and eventually for the world, there was that's the discussion I had with Mira. I said there's only one person who can direct it. It has to be an insider, and rightly so. We have Mira Nair now, obviously directing all of us in Suitable Boy.
My experience, because I'm an actor who's worked in India and I'm now based in the UK. But in my limited experience, I found that in the UK, the first two roles I played was one, the owner of an off license, which is quite a stereotypical fresh off the boat, and the other role was an IT guy. You know, I mean, this is in sort of films and short films and stuff like that. But I feel like that narrative is because and it was great to play a character like Amit because I brought who I was to the character. But I feel like that narrative is now changing the world over. It's not changing fast enough. But off the back of A Suitable Boy, the kind of auditions that I'm getting are pretty much colorblind. They're lead roles in different things, and it doesn't matter, what color my skin is, which is amazing. And I think that is what I really want in terms of my career, to sort of not be defined by my Indianness necessarily, but be seen as who I am and what I can offer.
When I started doing theater some 17 years back, a senior director had told me that there are no small roles, there are only small actors. And that is something which I have believed in, and that's been my journey. I have been part of the supporting cast so many times that I remember that a journalist actually called me कि तुम तो सब्जी में आलू बन गए हो. You exist everywhere, and yet you leave your mark. And now more so in 2020, it's not a question of being the potato in the in the vegetable. It's I think the question is how much can you bring to the table with this part, and is the story moving ahead because of this part or not? I think that's the question that I ask, at least. And more opportunities are coming my way, and I'm sure everyone's in everyone's career because of OTT.
What advice would you give to each of your own characters? Like, what would Tanya say to Lata, from someone in 2020 to someone there?
Tanya has learned a lot from Lata, and Lata's advice to Tanya would be that don't be afraid of failure. I feel like I am so afraid of putting myself out there. I am so afraid of being rejected.
I would tell him not to reject someone else's ideas without thinking about it, not to be too quick on the trigger, so to say.
His mother's autobiography, Leela Seth writes that he was a spendthrift. And since the time I have read this book, I have become a spendthrift myself. Not that I wasn't before, but I think I can easily justify it now to my wife that, नहीं, don't worry. पैसा आ जाएगा. Don't. वो भी वही करते थे, मैं भी यही करने वाला हूँ. This is what is going to happen. I think